there nothing I can take? I said, doctor, to relieve this bellyache. I said, doctor, ain't there nothing I can take? I said, doctor, to relieve this bellyache. Now let me get this straight. Put the lime in the coconut, you drag them both up. Put the lime in the coconut, you drag them both up.
You have those honk if you love to whatever bumper stickers. You kidnap them, and you make them do whatever the bumper sticker says they'd like to do, whether they do it or not, and then you make them eat bugs.
The enfp, known as the campaigner, has characteristics that include enthusiastic, creative, and sociable free spirits, who can always find a reason to smile. The enfp personality includes celebrities such as Mark Twain, Walt Disney, Jennifer Aniston, and Salvador Dali.
Put the lime in the coconut, you drag them both up. Put the lime in the coconut, you called the doctor, woke him up, said, doctor, ain't there nothing I can take? I said, doctor, to relieve this bellyache. I said, doctor, ain't there nothing I can take? I said, doctor, to relieve this bellyache. You put the lime in the coconut, you drink them both together. Put the lime in the coconut and you feel better. Put the lime in the coconut, drink them both up. Put the lime in the coconut and call me in the morning. Brother bought a coconut, he bought it for the time. His sister had another one, she paid her for the lime. She put the lime in the coconut, she drank them both up. And put the lime in the coconut, she called it Dr. Coconut. She said, doctor, ain't there nothing I can take? I said, doctor, this bellyache. I said, doctor, ain't there nothing I can take? I said, doctor, now let me get this straight. You put the lime in the coconut, you drink them both up. Put the lime in the coconut, you drink them both up. Put a lime in the coconut, you drink them both up. Put the lime in the coconut, you're such a silly woman. Put a lime in the coconut and drink them both together. Put the lime in the coconut, then you feel better. Put the lime in the coconut, drink them both down. Put the lime in the coconut and call me in the morning. Woo, ain't there nothing you can take? I say, woo, to relieve your bellyache. You say, well, woo, ain't there nothing I can take? I say, woo, to relieve your bellyache. You say, yeah, ain't there nothing I can take? I say, wow, to relieve his bellyache. I say, doctor, ain't there nothing I can take? I say, doctor, ain't there nothing I can take? I say, doctor, ain't there nothing I can take? I say, doctor, you're such a silly woman. Put the lime in the coconut and drink them both together. Put the lime in the coconut and you feel better. Put the lime in the coconut, drink them both up. Put the lime in the coconut and call me in the morning. Yes, you call me in the morning. If you call me in the morning, I'll tell you what to do. If you call me in the morning, I'll tell you what to do. If you call me in the morning, I'll tell you what to do. If you call me in the morning, I'll tell you what to do.
KBILLY, home of rock.
whistle it though I know it must be the killing time, unwillingly mine. Fate up against your will, through the thick and thin, he will wait until you give yourself to him. In the starlit nights I saw you, so cruelly you kissed me. Your lips a magic world, your sky all hung with jewels. The killing moon will come too soon. Fate up against your will, through the thick and thin, he will wait until you give yourself to him.
You have a license?
Monsieur?
City Ordinance 47B prohibits the playing of any musical instrument in a public place for the purpose of commercial enterprise without a license.
I don't understand.
It is against the law for you to play your musical instrument.
The law?
What?
You say is against the law?
Yes, unless you have a proper license.
What kind of license?
A license that permits the playing of any musical instrument in a public place for the purpose of commercial enterprise.
Commercial enterprise?
Yes. You play that thing and people give you the money.
People give the monkey the money.
It is the same.
Oh, not at all, monsieur. I am a musician and the monkey is a businessman. He doesn't tell me what to play and I don't tell him what to do with his money.
Monsieur, don't try to be funny with me. He is your monkey, therefore it is your money.
He lives with me, but he is not my monkey. One day I came home and I found him sitting in the living room. I let him stay, but he pays for his own room and board.
Then the monkey is breaking the law.
But he doesn't play any musical instrument.
City Ordinance 132R prohibits the begging.
How do you know so much about city ordinances?
What sort of stupid question is that? Are you blind?
Yes.
Oh, I see, yes. Yes, of course. Well, you happen to be talking to a police officer. And because I expect to be transferred back to the detective division at any moment, I will let you off this time with just a warning.
Thank you, Monsieur Argent.
But you must get yourself a proper license.
First thing tomorrow.
Try to do something about your filthy monkey.
Idiot!
How was I to know he was the bank manager?
How were you to know the bank was being robbed?
That is correct.
What is correct?
I did not know the bank was being robbed because I was engaged in my sworn duty as a police officer.
You didn't even arrest the old beggar.
There was some question as to whether the beggar or his monkey was breaking the law.
Minky?
What?
You said Minky.
That is correct, yes. Chimpanzee monkey. So I left them both off with a warning.
The beggar was the lookout man for the gang.
That is impossible.
Why?
He was blind. How can a blind man be a lookout?
How can an idiot be a policeman? Answer me that!
It's very simple.
Under in your arms, too late to beg you or cancel it, though I know it must be the killing time, unwillingly mine. Fate up against your will, through the thick and thin, he will wait until you give yourself to him. Fate up against your will, through the thick and thin, he will wait until you give yourself to him. You give yourself to him.
And it looks like it's going to be a perfect day to maybe, hey, just lie in bed, sleep in, or simply work out that slab that's hanging over the bed. Get up, son. Hey, let's talk. More pain, marshmallow ball. Scary feet, scary feet, scary feet. Oh, the kids awake. Okay, scary feet, scary feet, scary feet, scary feet, scary feet. Kids asleep. Quick.
The entj, known as a commander, has characteristics that include bold, imaginative, and strong-willed leaders, always finding a way or making one. The entj personality includes celebrities such as Bill Gates, Joseph Stalin, George Clooney, and Adele.
Against your will, through the thick and thin, he will wait until you give yourself
blame parents, except he hasn't got 'em. Gotta eat to live, gotta steal to eat. Tell you all about it when I got the time.
The ENFJ, known as the protagonist, has characteristics that include charismatic and inspiring leaders able to mesmerize their listeners. The ENFJ personality includes celebrities such as Martin Luther King Jr., Pope John Paul II, Oprah Winfrey, and Morgan Freeman. The INFJ, known as the advocate, has characteristics that include quiet and mystical, yet very inspiring and tireless idealist. The INFJ personality includes celebrities such as Adolf Hitler, Osama bin Laden, Marilyn Manson, and Michelle Pfeiffer.
You're making a terrible mistake.
That's not how we see it.
Because you don't see, you have no idea what's going on here.
We know.
The istj, known as a logistician, has characteristics that include practical and fact-minded individuals whose reliability cannot be doubted. The istj personality includes celebrities such as Warren Buffett, Sigmund Freud, Sean Connery, and Natalie Portman.
ISTPs are cool-headed problem solvers who improvise and don't mind taking risks. They're realistic and factual and often exhibit an enviable calm in an emergency. ISTPs often excel at meeting challenges head-on and overcoming them. They're usually independent, and they don't mind going their own way. In fact, they often crave the freedom to follow their own rules rather than going along with the rules of the system. When faced with a problem, they cut straight to the chase, and if they don't understand why a given rule is there, or what purpose it serves, they are likely to disregard it as they see fit. In the eyes of others, ISTPs may simply appear dismissive of such rules, but inwardly there is a process of logical analysis that has determined which of the rules are superfluous and which are needed. However, because their method of separating the wheat from the chaff is more bare-boned and logical than most, their judgment about which rules that are unneeded tends to be more extensive than most. ISTPs tend to have interests that are oriented towards real-world tangibles and factual results. They care about results in the real world, and they typically do not see the point of fluffy talk for its own sake. Many ISTPs are curious about technology and mechanical equipment, and they will not rest until they understand how something works. ISTPs tend to enjoy physically interacting with the world, using their problem-solving skills to manipulate objects and master them. ISTPs tend to have little patience for theoretical foppery that never leads anywhere. ISTPs who are academically inclined will therefore tend to go for subjects that also have a practical application, such as medicine and finance, while avoiding subjects that dabble in theory for theory's sake without producing many real-world results, such as philosophy or literary theory. Economical with their words and realistic to a fault, ISTPs tend to have little patience with pompous words and subjective observations that in the end are backed up by nothing more than more pompous words and more subjective observations. They tend to believe that the work should be able to speak for itself. ISTPs have a utilitarian mindset and are often mercilessly realistic about what works and what doesn't. As such, ISTPs can be said to be more clear-headed than other types. If a thing doesn't work, they adapt and make it work. The ISTPs of this world are not to be found among those starry-eyed dreamers who keep pushing the same boulder up the hill, only to have it rolled down again as soon as they let go. To an ISTP, a project that failed and is accompanied by a long and detailed explanation of why it should have worked is often no better than a project that simply failed. ISTPs prize freedom and independence, especially their own, but they also tend to respect the sovereignty of others, and they generally dislike imposing themselves on others, meddling in other people's affairs, or telling them what to do. Indeed, as one ISTP once noted, the most important thing in life is not to interfere with somebody else's life. Hence, ISTPs tend to resist attempts to control them, just as they usually refrain from trying to control others. This zest for independence lends the ISTP a charisma that's imbued with aloofness and self-sufficiency, yes, perhaps even of perceived unfriendliness. The ISTP's drive for self-governance also means that in the role of leader, an ISTP will usually have an easy time being hands-off and empowering their subordinates with the level of freedom and flexibility that they need to get the job done. With regards to leadership, an ISTP is truly the type of leader that exposes himself to fire along with his men, the leader who leads by example rather than by giving long and flowery speeches from the safety of the back seat. ISTPs are logical and unsentimental. Along with the ESTP, they are the type that is the most free of illusions about how the world works. They tend to hang back, quietly observing what is going on around them. While in this mode, they also have a keen eye for opportunities, and when one presents itself, they seize the moment and pounce. Hence, it has often been observed how ISTPs almost seem to have two different personalities. One that is analytical and quiet, hanging back and going over things in his own head. And then another, which is more action-oriented, adventurous, and risk-taking, a cool-headed problem solver that springs to action when others are lost. ISTPs are naturally focused on the bottom line and the real-world consequences of the matter at hand. Cool-headed and logical, they're well-equipped to handle conflict and criticism, but also somewhat private and impersonal, and may at times appear aloof to others. However, this aloofness rarely stems from arrogance, but rather follows from their clear-headed focus on the facts and their preference for cutting straight to the chase. The ISTPs of this world are usually the first to call a fraud when they see one, and the last to be suckered into a project whose meaning is unclear.
The ISTP, known as the virtuoso, has characteristics that include bold and practical experimenters, masters of all kinds of tools. The ISTP personality includes celebrities such as Steve Jobs, Clint Eastwood, Eminem, and Snoop Dogg.
I'm an excellent driver.
You know how to drive?
Yeah.
Raymond! You never touch the steering wheel when I'm driving. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Do you hear me?
Of course, I don't have my underwear.
What?
Them bones gonna walk around. Them bones gonna walk around. Them bones gonna walk around. Now hear the word of the Lord.
You're using Raymond. You're using me. You use everybody.
I'm using Raymond. Raymond, am I using you? Am I using you, Raymond?
Yeah.
Shut up! He is answering a question from a half hour ago.
Sometimes you're better off dead. There's a gun in your hand, it's pointing at your head. You think you're mad, too unstable, kicking in chairs and knocking down tables in a restaurant in a West End town. Call the police, there's a madman around, running down underground to a dive bar in a West End town. In a West End town, a dead end world, the East End boys and West End girls. In a West End town, a dead end world, the East End boys and West End girls. West End girls. Too many shadows, whispering voices, faces on